Warning.
Dublin Talks.
Dublin Talks.
Listener discretion is advised.
Dublin Talks.
Lines are closed right now. Do not text or call.
It's relevant.
They're not afraid to say what's on their mind.
People can relate to it.
Discussion talk show.
It's day-to-day stuff.
A lot of stuff goes down.
This show is controversial and contains Dublin Talk content that you may find offensive. 98 FM's Dublin Talks at Night with Adrian Kennedy. Dublin's newest nighttime radio show.
Dublin Talks. Dublin Talks. Adrian and Jeremy. Oh.
Friday night. Good evening, Dublin. Welcome. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks at Night. It's Adrian Kennedy with you until midnight tonight for this Friday, the 26th day of September 2014. Now, coming up a little bit later on the show, this is the best of the week, the highlights of some of the stuff that we did during the week, including a little bit later on, we're going to be talking about whether or not it is our business to report somebody that we suspect of drink driving. So imagine the situation, you're in a pub, the guy beside you is after having 2, maybe 3 pints, and he walks out and hops into his car. Should you tackle him? Should you call the guards? Or should you mind your own business? We'll be talking about that a little bit later on, and talking to one guy who says he does it regularly. He has 2 or 3 pints, and it is nobody's business what he does behind the wheel of his car. We'll be talking about that later on. We'll also be talking about horse racing and cruelty in horse racing after photographs last weekend revealed a horse being put down after falling during a race in Doncaster. He broke his leg in loads of places and he was put down on the spot. The photographs were revealed by an animal rights organisation, and we're going to be asking whether or not you could ever ban horse racing, or does anybody even want to see horse racing banned? We'll be talking to some people who believe that it should be. That's coming up just after midnight tonight. All that and much more between now and 12 o'clock. Friday night is the best of 98 FM's Dublin Talks. And we start with the Random Hour. Here we go.
Dublin Talks at Night with Adrian Kennedy. Get involved now on Facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. Twitter @Dublin Talks 98 FM.
There's the music, and that music tells you it is the Random Hour on 98 FM's Dublin Talks. Now, this is exactly what it says. It's the Random Hour. Okay? And what we mean by that is we invite you to call us.
I think the word random.
No, but I want to explain. We invite you to call us.
What the word random means.
We invite you to call us on 6797981 about anything. It can be just something you want to give out about. That's random. It can be something you want to ask a question about because you can't find the answer on Google. That's random. It can be just an observation. Yes. It can be absolutely anything. So why don't you call us right now on 6797981 for the Random Hour. And like I said, it can be absolutely anything that you want to talk to us about.
Like my neighbour who called me into her house yesterday evening to remove a spider from the living room. Yes. You know the way women are. Women have a...
So your neighbours, some neighbours knock on each other's door, could I borrow some sugar because I forgot to get some?
No, not in my area. We live in a posh area.
What's that got to do with asking for sugar?
People don't do that in posh areas.
So they come in and ask you, will you get rid of my spider?
Yeah, I was arriving home there yesterday evening into my gated community, and I opened the gates with my fingerprint, as that's how you open the gates now.
Not really.
And I was walking up the road of my gated community into my house, and one of my neighbours came out and said, Jeremy, I need your assistance, please. That's what she said. I said, will you please come into the house and remove this arachnid from my wall? That's what she says.
Can I just let our listeners know that A, you don't live in a gated community, and B, your next door neighbours are on the dole. And don't think like that.
That's actually, they could sue you for that, because they're actually not all... There's not one person on my road that's in receipt of social welfare.
Really?
We wouldn't have them in our area.
Really?
Kicked them to the curb. Anyway, this woman, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday evening, a neighbour of mine asked me to go in and remove a huge spider from her bathroom wall. Now, as I'm sure many of you are aware, spiders are getting bigger in this country.
Yeah, and
not only is childhood obesity a problem in this country, we have fat kids walking around, and we also have fat spiders walking around.
We do.
They're obviously eating the same food that the kids are eating.
They are. This year particularly, there's tarantulas around.
Yeah, I mean, this spider was a beast.
He was an animal.
No, spiders aren't animals, Adrian.
What are they?
No, they're invertebrates.
I think we're all animals, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Anyway, go on.
I don't know how you class a spider. Anyway, there's nothing worse than a woman asking you to go in and remove a spider from her wall. And I'm afraid of spiders, but I had to pretend to be all manly and remove the spider from her wall. And this thing...
Oh, so rather than saying, I'd prefer not to...
Then I wasn't going to say that. What man admits to having a fear of spiders?
You just did.
Yes, I did. But I mean, in front of a woman. I was trying to be all macho and stuff like that.
So you said, no problem, love. I'll come in and get rid of it for you.
And I walked into her bathroom, and it was gigantic.
So she was asking you to, like, get rid of the cobwebs?
By the way, it was a bit embarrassing. She left her tampons out in the bathroom.
Oh, that's toe talks.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, before you ask a man into your bathroom, remove your sanitary towels.
You should.
Very awkward.
Yeah, so your point is...
By the way...
What? Let's not get into that conversation.
No, I'm not getting into the conversation, but this woman's in her late 50s.
Yeah. Maybe her daughters? I don't know.
She doesn't have daughters.
I don't know.
No, why does the woman in her late 50s need...
I don't know.
But why?
I don't.
I thought that was very odd. This woman is about 58, I'd say, 58, 60.
Yeah.
And in her bathroom, on her little bathroom shelf, she had a box of Stay Free, is that what they're called?
Ladies' products, let's call them.
Yeah, ladies' products. Why did it...
I don't know.
Anyway, I ended up having to go in and kill the spider in her bathroom. There's nothing worse than that, sure there's not.
There is nothing worse, especially if you're afraid of them.
Are you afraid of creepy crawlies?
I'm not mad about spiders myself. No, I do kill them.
They are a beast.
They're an animal. My missus always, Adrian, look, there's a tarantula on the roof.
Does she keep lady products in her bathroom?
What?
Does she keep lady...
I'm not discussing my...
She's in her 60s.
She's not in her 60s.
She's not far off.
She's not even in her 50s.
She's touching it. She's touching 50. She has to be.
Anyway, your point is there's nothing worse than...
In fact, why don't you finish that sentence on the random error, ladies and gentlemen, and just text us. There's nothing worse than. Finish the sentence. There's nothing worse than.
And by the way, the best one, we'll give away a pair of Dublin Talks Earbuddies Pro, which are our cool headphones that look a little bit like Beats, even though they're not Beats.
You say the same thing.
I know, but I'm trying to give people an idea.
Everybody knows what headphones look like. Okay, there's nothing worse than. And text us now to 53981. 53981. So that's my one, Adrian. Write it down.
There's nothing worse than
having to kill a giant spider on your wall. By the way, can anybody tell me, and it's something I've always wanted to know, if anybody has the answer to this as well, how are spiders able to walk up walls? How can they do it? I mean,
I don't know. How does Spider-Man do it?
I'm going to try and walk up the wall here, okay?
Yeah, here, we've... Oh, hang on.
What?
We've issues here.
What's the issue? Hang on, let me sit back down. What?
Oh, look who's just walked in. How are you, lads?
Oh, dear.
Come in and say hello.
Oh, really?
Ah, yeah. Jeremy loves you.
Come here and sit down. And
we just had a...
Oh, the hugs and all, lovely. Okay, that's enough hugs. Okay, thank you.
Give you loads of love.
Okay,
one of the Jedwards just randomly walked in.
I bet you don't know which one it is, yeah.
This is...
Go on around and give Adrian a hug.
That's John.
Our guests.
How are you, John?
Oh, sorry. I think you're welcome to them, honestly.
Honestly. We don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, they don't like you.
What did I do?
You don't like you.
What did I do? I love the...
You're wearing red today and I'm wearing blue. Red and blue don't get along.
Look, John. Bye. It's John of John and Edward. And
oh, he's still here. Jesus.
You're embarrassed. They can't stand the ground you walk on.
I can't stand the ground they walk on.
Oh, really? Oh, that's good.
Well, I think they knew that, didn't they?
Oh, he does know that.
What?
Oh, he told me the last time.
I tell you one thing. Was that John or Edward?
That was John.
Which Grimes was that?
That was John.
He gives a nice old hug.
Right. Sorry, that was just a random interruption there. Where were we? Oh yeah, there is nothing worse than... We want you to finish that sentence.
And I want to find
nothing
out...
worse than one of the Jedwards walking in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
There is nothing worse than one of them walking in, not the two of them.
Very bloody rude.
What?
And can anybody tell me how a spider walks up a wall? Because I'm going to try it now in 90 FM.
You can't do it.
I'm going to try it.
You can't do it though.
I'm going to try and do it. So I'm going to try and walk up the wall in the studio here at 98 FM and see if it works, okay? So hang on.
Go on.
Hang on.
No.
Ah! Jesus!
It doesn't work, Jeremy. You know quite well it doesn't work. Why'd you even try it?
Because just to be sure. Does anybody... Oh, jeez, I think I'm after breaking me coccyx. Adrian, can you rub a bit of cream into me coccyx?
No, you're grand.
Can anybody answer that question as well? How do you not wonder that? How does a spider walk up a wall and not fall down? You try and walk up a wall.
I know I can't.
Yeah, that's because you're fat.
Okay, we want you to finish that sentence right now. There's nothing worse than... And you could win yourself a pair of Dublin Talks Earbuddies Pro. There are cool headphones that we have to give away on the random hour.
According to Angie on her Twitter, lads, geez, I'm in bits after trying to walk up that wall. The reason spiders can walk up walls because they're so light they don't fall down.
No, that doesn't make sense.
As in they don't have any weight.
No,
in
they've
them.
obviously some glue or some stuff in their
They've like gooey stuff coming
they
out
must
of them.
have.
So hang on, are you saying if I had gooey stuff coming out of me I could walk up a wall?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I don't know how it
Try that
works.
one when I get home later.
On your phone.
Now, Brian!
What's the crack, lad?
How are you, Brian?
Not too bad.
Brian, can you answer the question as to why spiders are able to walk up walls and not fall back down?
I don't know, lad.
No, nobody knows. Nobody
They have
knows.
glue on their legs.
Yeah, they've glue in their
No,
legs.
they have glue in their legs to just be stuck in one place.
they've glue in their legs.
They have glue in their
Anyway,
legs.
Brian, we're asking people to finish this sentence. There's nothing worse than...
Leaving the milk out after people use it.
It's so annoying. And then you come to...
Lads, we're just only have to finish the break in the job, and there's had to be a murder over it.
So, what, somebody left the milk out?
Yeah, murder.
Here, by the way,
It was
lads,
gone warm.
lads, can I say something to you, Brian?
Go on ahead.
Irish people are the worst at exaggerating. Nobody was killed. There was no murder. So why do Irish people say
No,
that?
there's nothing worse than leaving the bloody milk
Yeah,
out.
why do Irish people say those? You know, they used to say to you when you were a kid, your parents used to say, when you get home there's going to be murder. There was never a murder in the house, though.
No, but I agree with you, Brian. So who left the milk out?
Yeah, who left the milk out? Cracker did in the job.
Crackers are nail bollocks, excuse me, Fred. Isn't he? He's always leaving the milk out.
We used to
That's
know
it,
somebody
pal.
called Cracker, actually.
No, I've never known somebody called
You
Cracker.
did, he lived out in Shankill, you did know?
I actually don't.
You actually did, yeah.
I don't know anybody called Cracker.
I wonder is it the same fella. Anyway,
So
Brian...
what business do you work in, Brian?
What business? We're doing dual engineering now in Ballyfermot.
There you go.
Dual engineering. What's that all about?
They make cylinders.
So hang on, you're an engineer and you can't tell me how a spider can walk up a wall. That's marvellous.
He's not a
I never-
biologist.
I didn't engineer spiders though.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, Brian, you're dead right. There's nothing worse than Cracker leaving the milk out.
Yeah, that's
Can I ask you a question, Brian?
Go on ahead.
Why is Cracker called Cracker?
I haven't a clue.
I'd love to know where he got that.
I'm lost.
Yeah,
I'll have to ask him that for his lads on the same.
is he a big bloke?
He's not always nice.
No,
Average
as in
folk.
when he sits down on the seat, does he crack the seat? Because that would be...
I haven't a clue, lads.
Well, no,
Haven't a
the fella-
clue.
the
Maybe
fella-
he had all the cream crackers when he was younger.
The fella that we used to know that was
yeah,
called
cream
Cracker,
crackers, yeah.
he looked like Cracker. Do you remember Cracker on the... Was he on the television? Robbie
friend
Cocaine.
called Cracker.
You did?
I actually don't.
You
I am
did.
telling you now, I don't know anybody.
Cracker, he doesn't even remember. He had no impact on his life. None whatsoever.
I did not
No,
have a
it was
friend
fine.
called Cracker.
You did.
You know what my nickname was in school? Actually, I'm going to tell you what my nickname was, ladies and gentlemen, and see if anybody can guess why this was my nickname.
Go on.
Okay? My nickname was Silver Sleeves. Now, that was my nickname in school.
Really?
Jeremy Silver Sleeves Dixon. That's what they used to call me.
I don't think they called it that.
He actually did.
It might have been just Jeremy Silversleeves.
No, you didn't go to school with me, so you don't know. So, okay, Jeremy Silver Sleeves, they used to call me.
Yeah.
Okay, in school. 5'3", 98'1". Can anybody guess why I was called that? You're looking at me like I have 6 heads.
Would I still call you that?
No.
Really?
Jeremy Silver Sleeves Dixon. Why was that my nickname in school? If anybody knows, 5'3", 98'1". I'm going to try and walk up the wall again. I have gooey stuff coming out of me. so I'm
Marie,
gonna
you're
try
on
it now.
98 FM. Hi, Marie.
How are you, Jeremy?
Well, I'm Adrian, but...
Marie, how are you? Can you walk up a wall, by the way?
No, but if I had bloody 8 legs, I'm sure I could.
Yeah, that's it.
It's the 8 legs thing, is that?
Makes a difference, yeah, it
Yeah, I
does.
suppose.
Now, Marie, there's nothing worse than...
When you're sitting somewhere having a meal and you're looking at, you might happen to look around and there's somebody talking and they keep sticking that false teeth out.
Now, Adrian, you date women with false teeth regularly.
Jesus,
Is that an issue for you?
You know, I have to say, I really don't like when people start messing with their false teeth in their mouth.
horrible.
Oh, it is
Lads,
horrible.
where do you go that people have false teeth?
Ah, my granny used to do it. Yeah?
Oh, well, I've seen people
Excuse
and
me.
with grannies.
Yeah,
and
excuse me,
they
move them around their mouth like that.
Ah, that's
Oh,
disgusting.
No.
sticking them out on the bottom lip. Oh, God, it's sickening.
And do people still take their false teeth out at the end of the night?
Oh, this, I don't know, but I know I've seen them doing it there at weddings and parties.
Ah, here, you're at a wedding where they took the false teeth out.
No, they'd be talking, but they keep flashing them out every now and again.
Yeah, it's manky, it is. No, I'm with you on the whole false teeth.
The whole stomach just turns. And
So on spiders, you're saying the reason they can walk up walls is because they have 8
I have to
legs?
say, I have such a phobia of spiders. If a spider landed on me, I wouldn't think twice.
Oh, no, you could. Are you? Do you live next door to me? Are you my neighbour that asked me to go in and remove the spider from her bathroom?
I'd run out anywhere and ask anybody to come in to remove a spider. I have such a
You
fear
sound
of them.
exactly like my neighbour. Do you live in a gated community that's cut off from scum? No.
No, nobody does. What? Nobody
I'm
does,
not
nor
saying
do
I
you.
live-
But hang
I'm
on.
not saying I
Hang
live around Scum either, but Jesus, I'd ask anybody to come in and take a spider off the wall. I'm such a... I really
Yeah,
have
but
such
I
a fear
assume
of them.
I assume if you asked a man in to remove a spider from your bathroom, you wouldn't leave sanitary towels in the bathroom on the shelf, would you?
Well, you don't need them things around your...
No, you just
No,
don't.
you just
You
don't.
don't.
No,
You don't.
no.
You put.
So are you telling me, Jeremy, that you'd go in and you'd remove Marie's cobwebs?
I don't know, Marie. Have you got cobwebs?
No.
No, okay, then that's fine.
What?
No.
Here's another thing, Marie. I like where you're going with the 8 legs thing on the spider. I like that theory, yeah?
Yeah, well, see,
But another, hang on. Burp, 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 burp. A octopus has 8 legs and you don't see octopuses walking up walls.
Yeah, because they live in the water.
Yeah, because they're usually stuck in something like...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
They stick to
that,
things.
isn't there? You know,
It's still not, Marie, it's not a good enough answer.
Nobody's
no,
getting
I'm
what
sorry,
they're-
nobody.
I thought this was an obvious one. I was asking people why I was called Jeremy Silversleeves in school.
And where you call that?
Adam texted in on 52981, and was it because you wore a jumper that had silver sleeves? No.
Well, all your life. For your entire childhood.
I had the same uniform as every other boy in school. That's not why I was called it.
Why was he called Silver Sleeves? Text us on 53981.
I'll be honest with you, lads and girls. It's not pleasant. It's not pleasant.
Oh, is it not?
No, it's not pleasant.
Okay, we're going to take a very quick break. 6797-981 is our telephone number. Text us with your guesses as to why somebody might have had a nickname Silver Sleeves. And call us to finish the sentence, there's nothing worse than. Back in a sec.
98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian and Jeremy.
With the SundayWorld.com.
Dublin Talks in the morning and at night. 10 o'clock.
98 FM.
It's the Random Hour with Adrian Kennedy and Jeremy Silver Sleeves Dixon.
That
I
wasn't.
think I might just call you Silver Sleeves.
That's one of those names that. Remember, you used to call me Bubbles Dixon as well.
I did.
Yeah.
That's a long story.
Which we will never ever tell.
No, I'll explain it another day. We did go through a phase where I called Jeremy Bubbles Dixon. It was all to do with...
What was that to do with?
it was to do with the what you call it? It was to do with you being in a jacuzzi and getting
wood!
aroused by the bubbles with other men sitting beside you.
That was about 10 years ago,
It
lads.
wasn't. It was only 2 years ago.
It wasn't 2 years
It
ago.
was.
Oh, yes, I was in the jacuzzi with men and I got aroused.
Yeah.
By the bubbles, not by the men in the jacuzzi.
I know, but then you couldn't get out of the jacuzzi.
Bubbles aroused me, what can I say? I like bubbles. You know, when I eat an aero bar, the bubbles arouse me in the aero bar.
Really? Okay, yeah. Anyway, it's the Random Hour with Adrian and
Silver Sleeves. That's
Silver Sleeves Bubbles Dixon.
Have you worked that out why...
No, I haven't. I haven't a clue, actually. I haven't a clue. Bren, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Bren?
How's it going? Not bad.
Now, Bren, there's nothing worse than...
A chap picking his nose while you're having your break in the canteen and wiping it underneath the table.
What sort of animals do you work with?
So sorry, what does he do again?
You're facing him in the canteen and
Yep.
doesn't give a damn. He puts the finger up the nose, takes whatever's up there and wipes it underneath the table in front of you. And he's had his roll stuck in his mouth.
Ah.
This There'll be nothing but red sauce running down his mouth. And
That's not what you want to be seeing.
It's not what you want to be seeing. No, it's not.
And what sort of business do you work in?
It's just building trade.
Okay, so you're working with... Now, the builders are generally known as dirty, smelly pigs, generally, aren't they? They don't have much hygiene going on.
Okay.
You know, they show the crack of their arse. They regularly wash in slurry.
I don't think that.
I think they probably are. And what you're saying is there's a fella you work with, a builder, and he picks his nose while having his lunch.
Sitting in the canteen, and he's looking right straight at you, and the small of us sitting at the table, probably having a game of cards.
Wow. Bad man. Yeah, there is nothing worse than that. You're dead right, Bren.
Here, Bren, can I ask you a question? Are you afraid of spiders?
No, no.
So would you pick up a spider in your hand?
I get the Hoover do.
Yeah, that's the best way to deal with them.
The Hoover.
No, lads.
You suck it up.
When you suck a spider up from the Hoover, he'll come back down the Hoover and he'll kill you. He actually will.
He won't. He'll die in the vacuum.
You know what exactly?
Here, there's no air in a vacuum. He'll die.
You know what it's like, Bren? Do you remember the Jaws movie? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember the first Jaws movie. The policeman killed Jaws. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then remember in the second movie, the policeman killed the other Jaws. Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened in the following Jaws movie? Jaws' baby came back and killed his whole family. Animals are like that. They are a beast.
They're an animal, I know.
They're an animal.
So you're telling me that if I suck up a spider...
His whole family will come back and they'll infest your house and they'll wipe you out. You'll wake up some night and there'll be 50 spiders crawling up your body. I'm telling you.
I got a load of those flying ants in the house one time.
I hate them.
In the summer. And the same thing, I had to get the Hoover out. They were all over the kitchen.
I absolutely hate them.
I'm talking hundreds of them. And they come in, I couldn't believe it.
Well then, if Jeremy's theory is right, you probably sucked up a flying ant in your Hoover. And then he got all his mates to come around and attack you.
That's what it was, yeah.
I'm telling you.
Thanks, Bren.
Hey, take care.
Dermot, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Dermot?
How you getting on, lads?
You well, Dermot?
All right there. Jerry, do you want to give up wiping your nose and your sleeves?
Ah! Why, what's the on about?
That is
Especially when you're wearing the dark out shirt, you know?
Yeah, the reason I was called Dermot Hazard and One, I was called Silver Sleeves because my school uniform was black. That was the colour of the jumper.
Yeah.
And I used to regularly wipe my nose, wipe the snot of my sleeve, and I became known as Jeremy Silver Sleeves.
Really?
There you go, yeah.
How did you work that one out, Dermot?
Because I was called train tracks.
And why were you called Train Tracks?
Because the two of them just used to run down both my nostrils. Sit on my lip.
You should have developed silver sleeves.
I couldn't afford silver sleeves.
Honestly, my parents had to wash my school jumper every single day at the end. I'd come home, honestly, and both sleeves would be covered in snot.
Ah, that's disgusting. That is disgusting.
And Dermot, did you have a permanent cold, or why did you have such a snotty nose?
I just think it was a snotty nose little off, and that's what I think it was.
All kids have snotty noses, they do. Now, Dermot,
go
on, spiders, and we were talking about the fact that this year they're huge. What's the story?
Well, come here, I tell you, the job that I do, some parts of it involves emptying the litter bins, right? In parks and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's got to the stage now where they feel like they should be putting house numbers on the bins and knocking on them before they open them.
Oh, really? Have they gone that bad?
I have never seen them as big now. It's got to the stage now where they like to hide in the dark anyway. That's why they set their webs and what have you. Yeah. So you open it up and they run into the corner, they hide. And these lads now, when you open them up, they're looking at you going, and your problem is what?
Why are the spiders bigger, lads? Have we confirmed?
It's the weather that we're having.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's to do with the weather.
It's basically down to the weather. Come on, I tell you, listen. I think that they climb the walls because the hairs on their feet.
Well, I've hair on my feet. I can't climb the
walls.
You
don't have hair in the soles of your feet.
Little hair. Oh Jesus! You got hair on the palm of the hands.
I once shared an intimate moment with a woman who had hairs on her feet. Oh, Jesus, it was...
I know, I've seen women with hairs on their feet.
Oh, it was a wildebeest, this yoke was. A wildebeest.
Anyway, they're huge this year. They really are.
This one had more hair on her back than you'd find on a barber's floor, honestly. There was no need.
Instead of sitting down running your fingers through her hair, you'd sit down and groom her, huh?
Ah, stop. Thanks, Dermot.
Just before you go, I'm going to freak you all out here now, right? All spiders are venomous, we all know that, and they all bite, but they're very small, they can't break human skin, okay?
Right.
But the bigger they get, the more chances they have of biting and getting into your skin.
Thanks for that lovely thought, Dermot.
And the more aggressive you get as well, the tend not to away.
No, enough.
Oh, jeez.
Thanks, Dermot. Thanks. We've big, huge spiders this year. And basically what Dermot is saying is they're going to start piercing your skin next.
I hope the Yeti wasn't listening to the show today.
Why?
That big hairy wildebeest.
Is that what you called her, the Yeti?
The Yeti, yeah, the Yeti. Honestly, there wasn't a part of that woman's body that didn't have hair on it. Her back was like a rug. Honestly. And her back was like a rug, yeah?
Yeah.
And her rug was like a very big carpet. You know the kind of ones that when you go into the shops?
Yes.
And they're rolled up in the big rolls, yeah?
Shut up, Silver Sleeves.
That was 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, but
I
saw you wiping snot in your shirt the other day. I actually saw you.
Still doing it, am I?
I actually saw you, yeah.
I am a beast.
You're an animal, you are. There I was. I walked into the office the other day, yeah.
Yeah.
And there you didn't even know I was there, and you...
No, I was actually shocked that you were in the office because you're never in the office.
You were wiping snot in your sleeve.
Yeah, that was the reason anyway I was called Silver Sleeves. Was there a song called Silver Sleeves?
No.
Yes, there was. Isn't there wasn't there yeah, but and the classical song called Silver Sleeves. Oh,
I think you're right, yeah. That's what the whole music.
Yes, when you ring a company, there's a bit of trivia for you now, ladies and gentlemen. When you ring a company, especially if it's a semi-state body, there's no one ever answers the phones in...
No, they never do. No.
Never do. If you ring a company and you're put on hold, the music is usually... Do it there, Adrian? Doesn't sound anything like that, no. Oh, yeah, you're getting it. Yeah, you're coming around, yeah. Believe it or not, that piece is okay. That's enough. Your call is important to us. Please hold. That piece of music is called Silver Sleeves, believe it or not. And I wonder, was it named after snotty noses? Did the person who composed that music have a very snotty...
I wouldn't think
Just
so.
type in hold music.
Yeah, I typed in hold music. That's exactly what I typed in. How did you know that?
And what did you go?
Here we go. Hang on. This is... That's it.
Your call is important to us. That's it, yeah.
So that's called Silver Sleeves, and it was, what, you reckon, I doubt it was actually written about people with snotty jumpers.
By the way, a bit of advice for you as well, ladies and gentlemen. If you're ever trying to ring a semi-state company, don't ring them after 4 o'clock. They all shag off at about 4 o'clock.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
You notice that?
Yeah, who didn't know that?
Like,
always been the way.
Why can't they work till 5?
I don't know.
What have government workers got about working till 5 o'clock?
Because they love playing Silver Sleeves.
Your call is important to us, but we've gone home because it's 1 minute past 4. Please hold till tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. That's Silver Sleeves.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Yeah, okay. Now, where are we going? Ger, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Ger?
Well, James, how are you?
Welcome to Dublin Talks, Ger.
Thank you.
Ger, do you work for the government or do you work for a private
No, I
company?
don't work for the government, no.
Good man. So you actually, yeah, that's good.
What are you getting at?
What?
What are you getting at? What's wrong with civil servants?
They're lazy. Lazy whores. So they're a bit
harsh.
Aren't they, Ger?
Oh, I'm not getting involved there.
Yeah.
I know a few civil servants.
Come on,
I know a few myself. Calm down there, Dixon.
Anybody that arrives
Calm
into
down
work,
there.
Calm down. Anybody that arrives into work at 10 o'clock and goes at 4 is a lazy bastard. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Actually,
don't be jealous.
I've just described you, Adrian. What? I've just described you.
Well, if I stay here till 4?
Yeah, AM. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Ger, back to the whole spiders thing.
Yeah.
How do spiders walk up walls?
As far as I'm aware, they have tiny little suckers on their feet, and they cross to the wall and then let one go, cross up to the next piece and all the way up. They climb up it. They like an octopus in the water. But
So it's like walking up a wall with a plunger in your hand.
Exactly.
You know plungers?
Although you've 8 of them.
Walking up a wall with 8 plungers in your hand.
There you go.
You know the plunger you use for the sink?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so you're walking... Except the spiders don't make the noise. So they've little plungers, they've little suckers at the end of their legs.
As far as I'm aware, that's how it is, yeah.
How do you know this piece
Trivial bit of information.
Yeah.
I used to work in Dublin Zoo many years ago.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
I'd love to work in the zoo.
No, they pay peanuts. They pay peanuts for the monkeys. No.
No. And what did you do in the zoo?
Started off on the grounds and then I ended up in like Pets Corner and stuff like that. So,
Very good. It's a great old spot. The zoo is brilliant. I love it. Anyway, thanks, Ger. That's how they walk up walls, okay?
Sorry, hang on, Adrian. Hang on there. Yeah, just your call is important to us. Please hold. And you know when it comes up then, so like Silver Sleeves is playing in the background, yeah?
Yeah, there it is, Silver Sleeves, yeah.
And then this voice comes up. If you do not wish to speak to one of our customer advice agents, you can check us out online. I don't want to check you out online.
I wouldn't have been ringing you if I wanted to check you out online.
So then it comes back to the music. You are caller number 500 in the queue.
What's the most you ever got?
I think it was 20 or something.
Yeah, I got about 20 or 25, something like that.
I was ringing the tax office.
And who could be arsed?
Yeah. And then they come back.
What do you mean you don't want my tax? Fine then.
And then they come back and they say, the expected wait time for answering your call today is 25 minutes.
And who could be bothered?
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, that's the music that you hear is the other end of the phone.
Old Silver Sleeves.
Good old Silver Sleeves. There we go.
Why were you ringing the tax man, by the way?
What?
Why were you ringing the tax man? Adrian pays so much tax, the actually Group 4 security have to pick up his tax.
No, I was ringing the tax man to say, would you mind not taking so much off me, if you don't mind. Damien, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Damien?
How are you?
Welcome to Dublin Talks, Damien.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here.
Now,
really? Who's ever delighted to ring a radio show?
He is.
Really?
I'm delighted to have you, Damien.
Give that man a prize.
I'm delighted to be talking to two celebrities.
Damien, Adrian, don't let it go. Damien, you may not know this, yeah?
Go on.
But I love when people lick my arse.
Really? That's your own business.
What?
That's your own business.
It doesn't.
Don't want to talk about it.
What? And I have to say, Damien, there's nobody loves nothing more than a good lick at the arse.
You better believe it.
And I'm going.
Lad, seriously, get a room.
What? And I'm going to give you a prize just for licking me arse, okay? Give that man a prize for licking me arse.
That's something to tell all your mates. I was on I got a set of headphones off a bloke the other day because I licked his arse.
Kate, will you give that man headphones for licking me arse? Thanks very much.
It reminds me, but
do you
know what actually irritates me?
Puts a spring in your step.
Sorry, yes, what irritates you?
When you walk into a bathroom and there's a floater left in the toilet.
No,
I don't think you can go there.
There is nothing worse.
So hang on, you found...
Or else somebody is after leaving whittle all over the seat. I think it's the most degrading, disgusting thing that...
I agree with you 100%. It is. Seriously, lads, all it takes is 10 seconds to flush the jacks.
There was a story...
No. Flush the jacks, but actually stay there to make sure it goes down.
Absolutely.
I don't know how, do you ever hear the story, Damien? I don't know how true it is or whether or not it's folklore. Damien, will you tell me I'm great again there for a sec, please?
I think you're simply the best.
Oh, Jesus.
Relax, Dixon.
You're like Tina Turner's sister. You're simply the best.
Oh, Damien, your call is important to me. Please hold. Jesus. Oh, okay, Jeremy, calm down. There was a story doing the rounds there about 5 years ago, Damien, of a fella in Dublin called the Mystery Floater. This is a true story.
What?
The Mystery Floater. And what he used to do, Damien, and I don't know how true this is, a friend of mine told me this who works in the housing business. He used to go around to house viewings. You know when there's a house viewing on a Saturday?
Yeah.
And he used to go around from house to house and go into the bathroom and do a number 2 and just leave it floating there and then go to the next house. And that was
I often wondered about going into one of them bathroom centres and where they show bathrooms and toilets and stuff like that.
But that was his deal. He'd get up on a Saturday morning and he'd
go house to house leaving ploppers in the toilet.
He'd look up on the website and see, okay, Douglas Newman Good are doing house showings in X, Y and Z, and we have myhome.ie have house showings in Sandyford.
And he went around just...
He'd go up to these houses, go into the bathroom of the houses, do his business in the toilet and just leave it there and leave.
Well, I have to say, I went for a meal on Sunday and when I went into the lovely place, I won't name it, went in there and it looked like someone had left a smoke.
Lads, people could be eating at this time.
Who eats at this hour of the day? Nobody does.
Really?
Nobody does. No, don't be worrying about upsetting people's food.
Why, is it dangerous to eat this late in the day, yeah?
But it's not that late.
Depends. Here, Damien, just before you go, you've won the prize, okay, already.
Listen, but you're a superstar.
I just want you to lick my arse just one tiny little bit. Go on, one more bit.
Just move a little bit to the right.
Lads, no, get off the line. No.
Dublin Talks at Night.
With Adrian Kennedy and Jeremy Dixon. Twitter at Dublin Talks 98FM.
Now, you're very welcome back. It's the Random Hour with Silver Sleeves and Adrian.
Sorry, Adrian. Hang on a sec there.
Oh, sorry, yes,
Just seeing how long I've got to go. I'm ringing the tax office at the moment to pay some tax to them. And that's Silver Sleeves on in the background.
Yep, Silver Sleeves, lovely.
You are now caller number 5,000 in the queue. We expect to get to your call in 5 days and 20 seconds.
Okay, fine, don't have me text then. Tom, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Tom?
How are you, lads?
How are you, Tom?
Well, welcome to Dublin Talks, Tom.
I wanted to describe my voice. I want to camouflage. Is that word?
I don't think camouflage is a word, really.
Disguise, yeah, you want to disguise your voice. Why?
Here, Tom, speaking about camouflage, yeah?
Yeah?
I went into TK Maxx the other day, yeah?
Yeah?
Wanted to buy a pair of camouflage trousers, yeah?
Yeah?
Spent 5 hours looking for them, couldn't find them anywhere.
Why? Why?
I get it, Dixon. I get it.
You get it because you shop in TK Maxx.
That's actually a good joke.
Thanks very much.
For once in your life. Anyway, sorry, Tom, why are you disguising your voice in such a mysterious way?
I tell you what has really got up my back, up my nose, is that the women driving in the mornings to the creches, and they don't having the lights on, and it's dark, okay? It's dark, and although it's 8 o'clock-ish, and they think it should be bright, but it's not bright. And then the same when they're going home, they're picking up the children, and it's dark, and the lights should be on.
Okay. No, I'm with you.
With you.
Wait, just for a second, I hear this now. Just please for a second. Now that's now. What's that? It's driving me that mad now, honestly, God, not messing.
What the hell is that?
He's screaming with frustration.
And I held the phone away from my mouth. I held the arm's reach. Imagine if it was right the way I'm doing it. No, it drives me mad.
Okay, go on.
Relax there, Tom.
Hang on, scream with the phone right up to your mouth then. Let's hear how loud it is. Oh yeah, that's pretty loud.
Tom, I understand your frustration.
It's all women now.
I'm with you. But I have to ask, why the disguising of the voice?
Because I walk with women and one of them says she'll take the body cloud.
Oh, right,
yeah,
okay.
That's good. Now, Tom, you're in Dublin and you're on 98 FM.
He knows that. He knows.
Do you think that women drivers are incompetent fools?
Well, they be putting the makeup on now and all that, you know. Driving. You can't do that.
You can't put lippy on when you're. You can't put lippy on when you're doing 120 up the M50. Sure, you can't.
I've seen them doing some terrible things in the car. No, I'm not going to buzz. I know I want to try it then.
Tom, you're in Dublin.
He knows where he is. Stop saying that.
Tom, you're in Dublin. Tell me what you saw.
No, I can't be 100%, but she kept jumping up and down at the seat.
She kept doing what?
Jumping up and down on the seat. Now, it could have been a bee sting or something.
She was gyrating up and down on the seat.
Relax there now. Like that now. I come out to the van because she said, your woman said to me, get on the phone and start talking like that. She bait the thing out of me, you know.
Why was the woman gyrating up and down against the seat?
That's what I don't know. I would have loved to know, but I couldn't. But that's all I think.
And you're thinking that maybe she had a bee in her knickers or something like that?
Well, maybe something stuck in the wrong place.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay.
It's been lovely talking to you. Is your name actually Tom?
Tom the Bomb.
Tom the Bomb.
Yeah.
With the voice in disguise.
He sounds like were you the mystery floater from 2007?
No, I done it not a thing though.
What did you do?
I done it in a bag.
Okay, that's all we need.
Far TMI.
Yeah.
Far too much information.
That person is around somewhere, and I know you're probably
the mystery floater.
The mystery floater. Will you tell the story again if you're joining us late?
Back in the day when we actually sold houses.
Yeah. I will sell them again. Yeah.
In their truckloads. Yeah.
It was circa 2009, I think. 2008.
There's no houses selling then. It has to have been 2006 or 7.
Oh, it might have been 7.
Okay, so this fella went around to house viewings
every Saturday
and walked into the toilet
of the house viewing.
If I could just look at your ensuite, and he'd walk into the ensuite, close the door behind him, do a big
yes, and not flush, and leave it there for the next person who was viewing the house. He was known as the mystery floater. That's what he was known as. And
if anybody knows who this person
he's
is,
going to admit to being that person. And all his Saturdays are spent going around from house to house, just leaving his mark there, if you will.
Rob, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Rob?
Hiya, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Rob. Welcome to Dublin Talks.
You're in Dublin, Rob.
He knows where he is.
No. Rob, you're in Dublin. You're on 98 FM. How are you?
I'm very well.
Good.
Now, there's nothing worse than, Rob.
There's nothing worse than cyclists who think they have the right to cycle through red lights.
Seriously, of all people, they shouldn't be, because they're putting themselves at great danger.
Yes, absolutely, and even more, even more so for them, because, like you say, they're the ones that are in more danger than anybody else.
And I've noticed around town they're starting to put up a lot of cyclist traffic lights. Have you noticed these? They're starting to spring up all around the place, and they're at eye level for a cyclist, and they're their own little traffic lights, and they're still ignoring them.
I've seen that actually, but are they going to work?
No, probably not, because most cyclists just ignore the bloody lights. It's so annoying. I'm with you on that one, Rob. Laura, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Laura?
Guys, I love the two of you, but you know what I was doing when you were talking about them bloody floaters? I had a lovely bowl of porridge, a lovely cup of tea, and lovely
Who
stewed
has
apples.
porridge at this time?
I said to Katie, I'm going to kill.
Hello?
Oh, my phone is ringing. I'm very popular.
Okay, well, you take that call and we'll come back to you in a second. Your call is important to us.
No, Laura, sorry, you were about to eat porridge, which is a bit odd at this hour of the day, but...
I'm really getting sick into my bowl of porridge, organic porridge.
Organic porridge?
So what's organic porridge?
Organic, here, it's in the box. Flies into organic porridge.
What's organic about porridge?
Well, quick goats, flies into organic.
You were trying to eat your organic porridge and you were disgusted by our conversation about the mystery floater.
Yeah.
Do you know who he is?
Sorry?
Do you know who he is?
Who is he?
Well, the rumour has it that the mystery floater used to eat organic porridge.
No.
Hence the
No,
floaters.
he didn't. You can't fool me. Listen, and my second complaint is it's not silver sleeves, it's green sleeves. And my third issue
So what is this woman talking about?
Sorry, slow down there. Slow down, Laura. Sorry. It's not silver sleeves, it's what?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes,
Hi.
you were saying it's not silver sleeves, it's...
Green sleeves.
Laura, you're in Dublin. You're on...
Green sleeves, she says.
What?
Green sleeves.
Green sleeves is the chewing.
Green sleeves
La
is...
la 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 la.
Yeah, we got you, Laura. Yeah.
Jesus.
Mad
Hang on a
as
sec.
box of frogs this hour.
Sleeves.
Hang on there. Hang on.
Here.
Your call's important to us.
Come on, let's hear.
Okay, here we go.
That's the exact same song. I always thought it was silver sleeves.
So did I, actually. Laura, you're brilliant. Do you know that?
I'm brilliant. I'm only brilliant.
And can I ask you a question, Laura? What does Organic Project do for your constitution? Does it keep you regular and all
No,
that?
there's no pesticides or anything in it.
No pesticides?
And listen, my stewed apple, I stewed off the apple tree. I got the apples on the tree and I stewed my apples here. Apples, porridge, and a cup of organic tea.
Organic tea as well?
What is this woman banging?
That is Robert, Rainforest Alliance certified organic tea. So here they are. I'm very healthy.
Now,
Jeremy, can you translate this conversation?
What does Rainforest Alliance tea mean? What's the difference between that and...
That's where it comes from the rainforest. There's no pesticides sprayed on the leaves. Where it comes from, organic trust.
And come here, does this organic stuff, does it affect you in any way? Is there any side effects, like mental?
Oh, it's lovely.
Oh, okay.
And it hasn't changed your personality in any way?
What was she banging?
Great personality.
Laura, what were you banging there?
That's her own business.
Oh.
That's my bowl, that's my cup, and that's my stewed apple bowl.
Are you having stewed apple at this time as well?
Stay up late. I'm
No, you don't have stewed apple at this time.
Yeah,
It's a bit odd.
In my porridge,
No, you
Jeremy.
certainly don't
love
eat
it.
porridge at this time.
No, I don't know anyone who eats porridge at this time, at 5 to the hour.
Yeah.
Like, who does?
Oh, you should only ever eat that at a quarter to the hour.
Yeah, not a
By the way,
5 to the
listen
hour.
to that. That's green sleeves.
Yeah.
Keep Laura there for a second.
Connor, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Connor?
Hi lads, how are you?
Connor, there's nothing worse than...
Santa Claus getting you the wrong bike for Christmas.
Oh, man, it happened to me when I was a kid.
Could be worse, Connor. He could have got you
bike.
organic porridge from the rainforests of South America.
Connor, I bet your mine's worse than yours, yeah?
Yeah, go on.
When I was a young fella, I got a racer bike, yeah?
Yeah.
And, everyone wanted a racer bike back then. But my racer bike was purple.
Here, lads.
It was purple.
Sorry, I'm wearing purple today.
Yeah, it was purple, okay? That's all I'm saying. And I was only a young fella. What young fella wants a purple bike? So what happened with yours?
Every year, whenever I'd go to get a new bike, my mum would bring me to the bike shop, and I go, I want that one. Santa still got me the wrong bike.
Santa's a dope sometimes. He really is. I didn't want a purple bike.
Maybe you were naughty and not nice.
No, you're right, Connor. I agree with you on that.
In fairness, lad, Santa has to look
Sorry, I have to address a text I've just got from Miranda.
Yeah.
And Miranda just texted in to say, I have a fry on, and so she's making a fry, and baking special double choc brownies. Who does that at this hour of the day?
Laura, have you ever made double choc brownies, Laura?
I made lovely scones last night, scones, and I took them into my neighbour at 10 o'clock. I have a lovely neighbour.
So you dropped into your neighbour at 10 o'clock at night?
10 to 10, yeah.
10 to 10, yeah. So around this time,
really?
Give or take, you popped into your neighbour with freshly made scones.
Yeah. I brought her in scones last night. I want to say hello to Linda, her daughter that works in Petermarks in O'Connell Street.
Okay.
She has a lovely mum.
And can I ask you, Laura, will you call around to my house tonight? As soon as I get home. As soon as I get home, will you call around to me?
Huh?
As soon as I get home tonight, will you call around to me?
You call it to me and make your scones, and I have four lovely cats in the back. I have 4 lovely cats.
Oh, you mad cat lady, of course. They always have 4 cats.
I'm not mad, but I'm very caring. And I want to spiders.
One final question. Mad as a buck of frogs. One final question, Laura.
I'm a man or a lover.
Do you put raisins and currants in your scones?
What the neighbour actually said. She said, and you don't put those raisins
it's scum.
It's disgusting.
Raisins are for scum.
Okay, one last call. Thanks, Laura. We love you. Make sure you ring again.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, Laura. What?
Ground almonds.
Oh, ground almonds. Laura, you're like the mother I never had.
Yeah.
What's wrong with your mother?
She doesn't make scones. That's her. She's scum.
Dump her. Get rid of her. Yeah. One last call. Jean, you're on 98 FM. There is nothing worse than
being in your pyjamas and getting a phone call to go and collect somebody.
Geez, if you're from Darndale or Finglas or Ballymun or Blanchardstown...
We're talking about evening time, Jeremy, not during the day.
She's going to bed. So you settle in for the night to sit down and watch the telly and you say...
I feel like doing that now, I really do.
A glass of vino there.
Yeah, a glass of vino. On with your jammies.
And sit down chilled, and then you get the phone call from one of the kids. Ma'am, can you come and collect us now?
Well, why don't you just hop in the car anyway?
I have to be honest now.
I would see nothing wrong with that. Just hop into it, especially if it's dark. You look a bit stupid if it's bright. Nobody will see you.
Unless they're Hello Kitty.
God forbid to have an accident.
Yeah, but they're not Hello Kitty pyjamas, are they?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no adult should ever wear Hello Kitty pyjamas.
We're with you on that, Gene. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Gene.
Thank you, Dixon. That has been the Random Hour on 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian and Jeremy.
With the SundayWorld.com.
Dublin Talks at Night with Adrian Kennedy. Get involved now on Facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. Twitter @Dublin Talks 98 FM.
There was an expression and there was an advertising campaign many years ago that said, remember, 2 will do. And it was an advertising campaign for drink driving, telling people that if you're having a drink, 2 will do. Don't have any more than 2. Well, here's a question for you. If you saw someone, a stranger, getting into drive their car, knowing that they'd been having a few alcoholic drinks, would you do the job of the Gardaí and report them by calling 999? Or would you mind your own business? After all, that's the job of the Gardaí. Recently, the Road Safety Authority issued a statement urging the public to contact the Gardaí if they spot people drinking and driving, especially at events such as sporting events. Well, the RSA said if you are aware that someone is about to drive having taken drink or drugs, please contact the Gardaí as your call may well save a life. they have argued that the public need to call the Garda Traffic Watch number. We'll also have a listen to this text from a guy called Rory that came into 98 FM just last night. He says, I'm in my local here having food. Fella beside me had 2.5 pints and I just seen him leave and get into his car to drive off in the car park. Didn't know to report him to the cops or not. Should I have done it? Feel bad that I didn't do it now. And that's from a guy who signed his name Rory. Now, maybe you are someone who believes that anyone who would call the Gardaí for this is a snitch, a Garda informer, call them what you want. After all, you could argue, and some do, that it was only 2.5 pints. It's not like he fell out of the pub palatically drunk. Or maybe you're on the other side of this argument and believe it is our duty to help the Gardaí to report this kind of thing immediately. A lot of people nowadays have the attitude of absolutely zero tolerance when it comes to drink driving. No drink at all. No glass of wine with your dinner. No 1 pint or even 2 pints. Nothing. Now, if you're on that side of the fence, I'd like to hear from you. 6797-981 is our telephone number. You can text Dublin Talks right now on 53981. 53981 is our text number. So the question is, should this guy have picked up the phone and called the guards for a fella having had a couple of pints? He says 2.5 pints. We just take his word for it. The point being that he obviously wasn't palatically drunk, yet he had taken alcohol. Should there be a zero tolerance approach, and should this guy have called the guards? 6797-981 is our telephone number, 53981 on the text. If you're somebody who on a night out will have 2 pints and drive home, I want to hear from you, because a lot of people think, no, zero, absolutely zero. Peter, you're on Dublin's 98 FM. How are you, Peter?
Hey, hello, how are you?
Well, Peter, this guy, Rory, concerned that he didn't actually ring the guards, but thinks he should have. Do you?
I think he should have. I don't think any amount of alcohol, even a pint, should be allowed. To be, anybody has a pint, you shouldn't be driving. That's it. End of story. I've worked in hotels, and I would generally ask the doorman or who holds the key to not give the key at all. And if the guest, you usually get this, do you know who I am? And they don't really remember who they are after 2 pints anyway. And they won't
really, after 2 pints they don't remember who they are?
Tell me one thing, have you ever gone out on a pint with your friends after work, after a long days of work? Even that 2 pints just takes you to a different place. It's okay on a normal day where you're having a pint, you're fine, but then if you had a long day, if you have something on your mind and you're having a pint, it just, I don't know, you're not right frame of mind. You've already had, I don't know. It's not right. It doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right. Okay, so this guy was sitting in his pub yesterday. What he says is, I'm sitting in the local having food. The fella beside me had about 2.5 pints, and I just seen him get into his car and drive off. I didn't know whether I should report him to the guards or not. Should I have done it? So he's basically asking, should he have picked up the phone and called the Garda Traffic Watch?
Here's the situation. That guy who didn't report it, this guy who's driving, let's say Rory should have reported it, or he didn't. And down the road, this guy goes and has an accident with one of his mates, Rory's mates, and he dies. Who's to blame? Would Rory blame himself for not reporting it?
Maybe he would, and in fact, the mere fact that he even texted us last night, it was on his mind that I wonder, should I have called the guards? And now the guards actually have a special number, which I'll give out a little bit later on for anybody who feels the need to do this. And if you feel that somebody is drinking and driving there, the guards urge you to call this number. You think that when this guy witnessed the fella getting into a car after having had 2.5 pints, he should have picked the phone up and called the Gardaí?
He should have. I think he should have. He's not a snitch. He's just helping save lives. The guy who's driving, it's safe for him, and the people walking on the street or people driving on the street, that it makes their life easier and safe.
Okay, so you think with any amount of alcohol in your system, you're a danger on the roads? That
you are, yes.
And that includes 2 pints. Now, I have to say, we have this debate going on our Facebook page right now, facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. Facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D if you want to join in the debate. But what a lot of people are saying is, 2 pints is nothing. Relax.
Again, it depends on what state of mind you are in, and you don't leave your judgment to, it's just 2 pints. It's any amount of alcohol in your system. You can't judge. I think you have loss of judgment. Simple.
Okay, any amount of alcohol in your system and you've lost. So if you were Rory in that pub last night, you would have called the guards, would you?
Yes.
For anybody who's interested, if you want to make a note of this number, there is a phone number where the guards urge you to contact them with anything like this. It's called Garda Traffic Watch, and the number is 1890 205 805. Matthew, would you ever call that number, 1890 205 805?
No, I wouldn't.
Why not?
Why? Because I'm not a snitch.
You're not a snitch?
I wouldn't run down.
Okay, but if you knew somebody was getting into a car with drink on them, you'd just say, leave them at it.
Well, it depends on how many drinks that they're having.
Well, in this case, according to your man who sent us the message, he'd had 2.5 pints.
Yeah, well, no, not for that, no.
Not for that?
No.
If he was locked, if he could barely stand, would you call that number?
If he could barely stand, I'd take the keys off and wouldn't let him drive the car.
Even if you didn't know the guy?
Oh, even if I didn't know the guy, yeah.
Right, you go over and say you shouldn't be driving that car?
Yeah.
But you would never, ever call that Garda Traffic Watch number in a million years?
Nah, never in a million years.
Now, when Peter's just been on there a second ago, he said that he would call. If he was in that situation that guy was last night, he'd have picked up the phone and he'd have called straight away.
I think that's stupid.
Well, there you go, Peter. That's disgraceful.
All good. I believe, Matthew, that he would just take a stranger's key and drive his car and say, as if he's really going to do that.
Well, he says he is. Have you ever done it, Matthew?
Nah, I took the keys off my mate a couple of times there, yeah, when you're a bit too drunk.
Okay, so they were being all brave and wanting to get into the car, and you said, no, lads, relax there.
Yeah, but there's no need for calling the police.
Okay, would you ever have 2 pints yourself and drive?
Oh, you have done, yeah.
You have done. Would you have 3 pints and drive?
Ah, 2.5 max.
Okay, 2.5 max, and you have done that. And when you'd had, let's say you had 2.5 pints and you were driving the car, are you okay? Or do you feel affected by it?
I feel okay, like, as long as you feel okay, once you know your limits.
Well, there you go, Peter, 2.5 pints and he's grand to drive.
After a pint of drink, anyway, you feel relaxed and you're okay, and I'm not going to let that side of my judgment take over and say, fine, I can drive. I don't know. This guy Matthew, I think he's just bullshit. Like he's talking gibberish.
He's talking gibberish, but what? Because he says he's driven with 2.5 pints.
Okay, tell me, would you take his word for it that he's fine after 2.5 drinks? You don't know him.
Well, no, I don't know him at all. No.
I don't know a stranger who's getting in his car. I don't know how many pints he has had. I think if he's stumbling, obviously he's drunk.
So if you were in a pub, Peter, and Matthew was sitting beside you, and over the course of an hour, Matthew had 2.5 pints, and he walked out and he hopped into his car like he's already admitted that he has done, would you call the guards on him?
I feel pubs is one of the places where you really can't control how much people drink and what they drink. If it's a hotel, then at least, they know you or you have to park your car in their own car park and they know, if you've had a few, and I feel there's a sense of responsibility there.
Okay, but I'm asking you, if Matthew was sitting beside you in a pub and he had 2.5 pints and you saw him getting into a car...
I would say, don't drive to him, and if he does, then I'll have to call the guys.
Now, Matthew, what would you say to somebody who comes up to you and says, don't drive, and you've only had 2 pints or 2.5 pints?
Well, I'd ignore them, I would, now, to be out straight.
Okay.
There you are.
Now to show you now, they are 2.5 pints. Like, you know yourself, 2.5 pints not going to hold now.
So he sees nothing wrong with it. Obviously, the guy in this pub last night, Peter, saw nothing wrong with having 2.5 pints. He doesn't.
Yeah, that's right.
You obviously believe, Matthew, that 2.5 pints doesn't affect you at all.
No, it doesn't affect you at all.
And you have done it. Do you do it regularly?
No, I wouldn't do it regularly, but I have done before.
But you have done. And if you found yourself in a situation that you had 2.5 pints on another occasion, you would still think about driving?
Yeah, if I felt capable that, if I thought that I could drive, like, I'd drive.
Well, stay there for. But the bottom line is, you don't believe it is any of our business to be calling the Gardaí and reporting on somebody.
No, it's no one's business to be ratting on anyone. Like, let people do what they want to do. It's up to people to do what they want to do, you know what I mean?
Okay, so if somebody was to get into a car with drink on them, you would try and discourage them if they were locked, but if they continued, you'd just leave them at it?
Yeah, just leave them at it. Look, it's their own choice, you know what I mean?
Okay, stay there for 1 second. Derek, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Derek?
How are you doing, Harry?
Now, Derek, you yourself have actually called the guards over drink driving.
Yeah.
Under what circumstances?
I'll tell you what it was, right? I was out walking my dog, right? And this fella walked out of a pub, right? I won't name the pub around the area, but he walked out of the pub, laughing and joking the whole lot, right? And he gets into his car, and I knew it took him about 2 minutes to open the door of his car. And this is at 5:30 in the afternoon in the middle of the summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've got this young son and a girl out playing, right? The whole lot, right? Now, if you think of it this way, I'm saying to myself, he's going to get into his car, I don't care what way he's going. He's going to get into his car. I don't care how many points you have to have him, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Doesn't matter, right, how many points you have. There should be zero tolerance at the end of the story, right? I wouldn't even waste time going to the pub and having 2 points. But what? I'd rather go in and have 8 points to get a taxi home or the bus home, right? To enjoy it more. Now, what I was saying was, I don't think the guards can explain to the guards this what happened. The guards came and arrested him. The man couldn't stand at 5:30 in the afternoon. Now, if he only had 2.5 points, no one knows what way it's going to affect his blood, his system, whatever it is. Right? Because I've often had 2.5 cans in my house and I'd feel a bit. I wouldn't be writing a story and I wouldn't be able to read a paper as good as what I would if I had a cup of tea. Right? Now, what I was saying was, it's zero tolerance. What would happen there now if that man had 2.5 points, knocked down a young child, got out and he said, I only had 2.5 points. Doesn't matter. You 2.5 points. The legal limit is what, 1 point?
If even. It's
even 1 point. It really shouldn't. Why even bother going to the pub in your car? It's pure laziness and pure stupidity to even have 1 point and go to the pub in your car. I drink Friday night, I drink Saturday night. Never any day have I got into a car. Even the person at 2 points there says, no, you're all right. I'm going to spend €10 on a taxi and go home in one piece. Hopefully,
okay, now you've heard Matthew here, who has admitted he doesn't do it that often, but he has had 2.5 pints. That's the most you've ever had and driven your car, Matthew, is it?
Yeah, 2.5, 3 points. And
now we're up to 3.
2.5, 3 points, like, you never count there, like, 2.5, 3 points, like.
But do you feel after that amount of drink you're a danger on the road?
You're capable of driving, like, you know.
No, that's what I said. You don't feel you're a danger on the road?
People to just mind their own business and let other people do what they want to do. It's their own decision.
Okay, but when you hear Derek call the guards on this guy who's clearly locked.
Yeah, well, I think he shouldn't be the owner, like, you know, it doesn't make a difference. It's his own choice to drive if he wants to drive.
Well, there you go, Derek. It's his own choice to get into the car and drive.
It's his own choice, but at the same time, if you see someone that's in that state, or you don't even know how many, that man could have had only 2.5, 3 points. Depends on the system. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of a freight. Has he eaten on all day? Is he on tablets for his blood medication? Is he supposed to drink? No, we're only going to have 2.5/3, 4 points. You don't go into the pub and have 2.5 points. I've never seen anyone drink 2.5 points, because I wouldn't buy a half a pint of beer and a half a pint of Guinness. I'd buy 3 points. So now you're out with the legal limit by what? 2.5 points?
But he believes, this is what Matthew is saying, he believes that he is... No, you don't believe you're a danger on the road at all, Matthew, no?
No, I don't, no.
Well, that's Matthew's decision. That's the choice he takes. That's his opinion. As we're on the radio, everyone's entitled to opinion.
But Derek, if you were in a pub and you knew Matthew had 3 pints, would you call the guards?
I'd say to Matthew first and said, "You going to drive that car?" And he says, "Yeah." Well, I'm going to say, "Well, I'm calling the guards now," and then see would he drive his car then.
Yeah, and then you see yourself getting a smack into the head.
Yeah, that's your fucking attitude, Matthew. You're a bleeding arsehole, you know that?
Yeah.
You give me a smack in the head for calling the guard on you because I'm a snitch. Is that what you are?
You are a snitch.
Come here, the way you're going on, you've probably snitched more times in your fucking life, you know? Will you get on with the fucking radio?
All right, mind the language, both of you. 6797-981 is our telephone number. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy, and Jeremy's here with a reaction so far.
Cut him off, cut him off, cut him off, cut him off. That's what a lot of people are saying.
Sorry, if anybody believes that this is the only guy who drinks and
that's what I was about
has
to say.
2.5 pints and drives their car home, you're living in dream world.
First of all, we won't be cutting Matthew off. The reason we won't be cutting Matthew off is because he represents a lot of people who are listening to the show at the moment. The only difference is that he was brave enough. I'm not condoning what he does. I don't condone drink driving, but at least he was brave enough to admit what a lot of you do. And there's a lot of you listening now at the moment, and you know you do it. That you'd have 2 or 3 pints and drive, and you don't consider yourselves drink drivers. So for those of you who are asking us to cut him off, no, we won't be cutting him off, because we believe in free speech here at 98 FM. David says there should be a zero policy on drink driving. It should be 0%. You see, here's the problem with that, David. You can't have a 0%.
No, it's impractical to have 0%.
It's impractical, because I had a tiramisu for dessert yesterday, which has a tiny bit of Tia Maria in it. So if I drove after having a tiramisu, am I a drink driver? No, I don't think so. If you have a sherry trifle on a Sunday and you drive your car, are you a drink driver?
No, that's why you can't have a zero.
So David, let's be practical about this and deal in reality. That fella Matthew is an absolute disgrace. As someone who's lost a friend to drink driving, I think he should be ashamed of himself. Let's be honest. And again, I'm not condoning this. So Matthew, how many pints did he say he has? How many pints did you say you had?
2.5, 3.
You're not locked after 2.5 pints.
No, you're not. I don't think you are. But
so it's not as if he's swerving across the road. I can't believe there are so many people condoning drink driving, says Aoife. This is a disgrace. I thought everybody was over the drink driving thing. No, you're completely wrong, Aoife. Look at the car parks of pubs every evening and you'll see many people.
Look at the amount of people who get arrested. The Road Safety Authority advertise this all the time. 212. The number of people arrested for drink driving.
That's the voice, yeah.
Yeah, but it happens every single week.
I think you're missing the point here, says Peter. As a member of the public, it's our duty to report anything we see illegal to the Gardaí, says Peter. Now, Matthew would say that you're an absolute snitch for doing this. And finally, on 53981, keep those texts coming in. I work in a pub and I see it all the time. I've passed comment before to customers about driving with a few drinks on them, only to be told, well, nothing has happened to me yet.
6797-981 is our telephone number. 53981 on the text. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
Dublin Talks in the morning and at night. 10 o'clock.
98 FM.
Morning and night between 10 and 12. This is Adrian Kennedy with 98 FM's Dublin Talks. I hope you're enjoying the programme. We're in the middle of a conversation all to do with whether or not you would ever pick up the phone and call the guards because somebody has had some drink and they get into their car. Rory sent us this message into 98 FM last night on 53981. He says, I'm in my local here having food. The fella beside me had 2.5 pints and I've just seen him leave and get into his car and drive off from the car park. I didn't know whether or not I should report him to the cops or not. Should I have done it? I feel bad that I didn't do it now, says a guy called Rory. We were talking with Derek, who has admitted that he did call the guards on somebody. Now, the person was kind of locked when he did it, and he feels well justified in doing it. Matthew has said he will have 2.5 or 3 pints, and it's none of your business, basically. None of your business at all. Carly, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Carly.
Hi, how are you?
Grand, thanks, Carly. Now, you're fuming with Matthew. Why?
Because my niece was knocked down on drink and driving.
Your niece was knocked down by a drink driver?
Yeah.
Tell me what happened.
Well, my niece was outside my garden playing, and it's quite a wide path, so like they couldn't like play on the road or anything because it's too dangerous. My niece was playing with her friend next door with Barbie dolls who were sitting on the ground, and next of all, a car came swerving around the corner and actually went up on the path and hit her.
Wow. Now, he must have been locked, was he?
2 points, he said.
2 pints is what he would say,
Yeah.
that, wouldn't he? If he'd had 10, he'd probably still say 2. Damo, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Damo?
How are you doing, Adrian?
Now, Damo, you also believe that everyone needs to mind their own business.
Absolutely, I do. Absolutely. I mean, the consequences with people getting involved in situations like this. I mean, if you're in a pub and you're looking at this guy lashing back the points, and then he goes out into the car, you see him driving off, you make the phone call, all of a sudden this guy realises who made the phone call, or somebody else finds out who made the phone call, you're in trouble. Do you understand me?
Yeah, well, in fact, Matthew, you would be very unimpressed if somebody were to ring the guards on you having your 2.5 pints, would you?
That's exactly where I think exactly where he's coming from. People should just mind their own business and let people do what they want to do.
So many trouble, Aidan, so much trouble happens after people get involved in situations like that. So much trouble happens, like, you know.
So if you has nothing got to do with them to begin with.
I'll give you an instance, Adrian. Like last week, for instance, right, completely off the subject, right, I was at a bus stop in a certain part of the city, right? Two young lads start baiting the head off each other, right? There was about 6 people at the bus stop. I was at the bus stop with my missus, and she's in a walker, right? I kind of looked at these 2 lads, and they were baiting, and I mean baiting the head off each other. They were getting closer and closer to the bus stop, and I had to make a decision to stand back or either stand forward and protect my wife. But the other people who were at the bus stop were laughing and joking.
Yeah, but I think that's slightly different in that you're putting yourself in physical danger. Calling the guards because somebody got into their car locked, like you heard from Derek a couple of minutes ago. Your man fell out of the pub, 5:30 in the day, got into a car, and this guy says, I'm not putting up with this, I'm going to ring the guards. Is he not right?
No, look at Adrian, he should have minded his own business, right? Because if he went outside to the car park and approached this guy and say, I'm not letting you driving, and the guy turns around and gives him a smack and knocks his head on the ground and he's dead, what happens there?
Okay, let's imagine a situation. You're driving along the road, and you're driving on a country road, and there's a car in front of you, and he's swerving all over the place, and he's bashing into curbs and whatever. Would you just leave him at it?
No, see, that's a different situation there again, Luke, you know what I mean?
How is that different? I mean, the guy that Derek described a couple of minutes ago, who could barely stand, it took him 2 minutes to even open the car, he was going to be driving like that.
Is this the guy that just had 2.5 points?
No. This is Derek who told us about the story of a guy who couldn't stand getting into his car. And he did call the guards.
Yeah, okay, fair enough if he called the guards. But take the other situation, if he hadn't called the guards, if he went out into the car park and said, hey man, you're not driving that car, I'm taking the keys off you, and he gives him a belt, he falls down and busts his head.
I don't know.
Mind your own business.
I don't know.
Mind your own business.
Yeah, I think in that sort of situation you might be right. I don't know if people should go over to randomers and say, "Give me the keys of your car."
Yeah, you can't do that.
No, I think
you know what I mean?
and I agree with you. You are putting yourself in danger there. But what he did was he called the guards. The guards have a special number for you to call. 1890 205 805. That's the number they want you to call, and that's what he did. He called the guards. Now, what was wrong in him doing that?
Adrian, again, I have to say this to you, like, I've been in situations, I've seen situations, like, you know what I mean, and I've seen people get hurt because they didn't mind their own business. You have to mind your own business in life, and get on with life and do your own thing, and look after yourself and look after your own family. Don't be getting involved in these situations.
So again, you're driving along a country road, you're behind a car, he's swerving all over the place, it's clear as day, he's locked, he's bashing into curbs and whatever. You're going to just mind your own business, are you?
Well, what about all the other people driving on that same road? They mind their own business. Does it have to be the one guy that gets out and be the hero and say, right, you shouldn't be doing this, man, and then whack?
No, I'm not saying you pull him in, but you're driving behind him. If you have somebody in the car, get them to call the guards, give his reg number, tell them where he's driving, say he's locked, and get the guards to pull him in.
No, just let him get on with it, let him crash and kill himself, end the story.
Or crash and kill somebody else.
Well, that's a possibility. That's a possibility, yeah.
Could you live with that for not calling the guards?
No, sorry, Adrian, what I'm saying is, look, we're talking about the situation about drink driving, right? And again, I'm going to go off the beaten track now and talk about something else, about other situations. People get hurt, families get damaged about not minding their own business. It's all about minding your own business. please mind your own business, don't get involved. I live in an area where it's fairly rough, right? If you see an incident out on the road and you get out and try and stop it, you're the one that gets whacked. You're the family that gets involved, and you're the family that gets blackened for getting involved.
And yes, when it comes to incidents like the one you described at the bus stop or whatever, I don't blame you. I can understand you minding your own business and moving away and leave them at it. But again, I'm painting a picture of you driving behind a car and he's absolutely all over the road. You're just going to leave him and, hope he gets home safely.
Aidan, you keep bringing this up again, you know what I mean? This incident with the guy in the car driving all over the place, right? This happens, right? This happens. Again, I'm going to go back to the incident last week. This guy, one of the guys, I don't know whether he was on drugs or drink. He was actually dead to bits, right? I got my wife on the bus. The other people got on the bus. And the guy runs up and he tries to get on the bus. The driver shut the door in his face. He mind his own business.
Okay, stay there for 1 second. Harvey, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Harvey?
How are you?
Now, Harvey, both Damo here and Matthew are both saying if you think somebody is drink driving, mind your own business. None of your business. Let the guards do their job.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, what Matthew said, as far as I'm concerned, he's totally irresponsible, number one. He's asinine, which means he's silly. His attitude, as far as I'm concerned, he gets 2.5 points, then 3 points. He doesn't even know how many points he's having. So that in itself is potentially dangerous when he gets into a car, which could be lethal. He could kill himself, he can kill other people as well.
No, I understand all of that, and that could happen. But he thinks it's none of your. This whole conversation is about whether or not we should be contacting the Gardaí if we suspect somebody is drinking and driving. Would you, or have you ever done that?
No, I've never done that. No, I've never done that. But
would you?
I might in a situation where I do. I mean, people know the law is the law at the end of the day. You have to face facts. After a pint, you're not meant to drive.
Okay, Matthew, what about that? The law is the law, and after 1 pint, you shouldn't be behind the wheel of a car.
Well, that's the law, and that's what people think the law is. But I think I may have to drive after 2-3 points, so it's what other people think. But if anyone around the guards on me to be in trouble, that's all I'm trying to say.
The people should just mind their own business.
Mind their own business, yeah. That was the point of ringing in, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. But
so what happens then if you get into a car and he loses control of the car? He might injure himself. He might injure other people in the other car. Then what's he going to do? How is he going to feel then?
That's my own problem. That's nothing for you to worry about. But you know what I mean?
Say it again.
That's my own problem. That has like nothing got to do with you.
So you don't have any.
That's my own problem.
Yeah, you have no conscience then at the end of the day. Your heart is on no conscience.
Yeah, but look, it'd be on my conscience. It wouldn't be on your conscience whether you rang the guards or not.
You have no conscience then whatsoever.
I do. I do have a conscience.
Let me ask you, Matthew. You know, with 2.5 or 3 pints or whatever, have you ever had a crash?
No, I never had.
Have you ever run somebody down?
No, never.
Have you ever even felt that you shouldn't be behind the wheel of the car?
No, never. Never even clipped a pat or hand.
So, Harvey, he thinks that he is perfectly capable of driving his car after 2.5 or 3 pints. And it is none of your business what he does.
Well, no, first of all, the free country, you do what you want to do. But as far as I'm concerned, after a pint, you don't get into a car full stop.
So again, I want to ask you, would you, if you were sitting in a pub, and this is where this conversation comes up from, a guy sitting in a pub last night having food, fella beside him had 2.5 pints, walked out to the car park, hopped into his car and drove off. Now, this guy, Rory, could have called the guards because he could have got his reg number, but he didn't, and he wonders whether or not he should have. Should he have?
What I would have done in that scenario would be, I would follow him, see how he's driving. If he's driving
he's sitting there having it. What, you'd get up out of your seat when you're having your dinner, go out, get into your own car and follow the guy. That's very diligent of you.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
If I'm leaving the same...
If you want, you can just ring the Garda traffic watch number. Jeff, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Jeff?
Oh, fine. Hi, how are you?
Grand, thank you, Jeff. Now, welcome to Dublin Talks. You have rang this Garda Traffic Watch number before?
Yes, more than one occasion.
On more than one occasion. And I understand you've said that they did nothing. Or they do nothing.
They didn't. Well, on one occasion, I reported a person that was driving down the M25 at speed using mobile phone. And I phoned the traffic watch number, gave the registration number and the make and colour of the car. And about a day later, I got a phone call from the Garda saying that vehicle registration number was actually registered to a motorbike in Cork.
Oh, right.
Sometimes, in my experience, I have found that sometimes, yes, you use the number, but the Garda don't follow it up.
Okay, so, was that in the UK or was that here?
That was here.
That was here, okay. So you rang... Well, no, that's hardly their fault that the person was driving a car with a bike's reg plate on it. Do you know what I mean? You can't blame the guards for that. It's not their fault.
No, I can't blame the guards for that. But, they started coming out with excuses of, well, maybe I got the registration number wrong.
Maybe you did.
No, I didn't, because I wrote it down.
Okay, so when it comes to... okay, that was one example. What other time have you rang?
There was an occasion where I was driving from Howth towards Clontarf, and a vehicle passed me in a dangerous manner because I was stopped behind a bus, and the car came behind me, pulled out, just avoided a woman coming in the opposite direction, and teared off down the road, which is a 60-kilometre speed limit. And I phoned the traffic watch number, reported the vehicle and the colour and the registration number, and told them that it was heading towards Clontarf, and there is a Garda station in Clontarf. And again, I was told that it was registered to a different vehicle.
Again, not the fault of the Gardaí.
I know, I understand that it's not the fault of the Gardaí.
Okay, let me ask you then, if you were in a pub and you knew somebody was walking out, getting into a car, having had several drinks, would you do anything about that, or would you just leave them at it?
No, I'd do something about it.
You'd call the traffic watch number again?
Either the traffic watch number or, in my past experience, phone the Garda on 999.
Now, Matthew, that could be you that he might call the guards about if he sees...
Yeah, well, I think people like him should mind their own business and go back to their own country.
He's only English, for God's sake. Or he only has an English accent.
Well, yeah, he's English, yeah.
What's that got to do with anything? English. What's that got to do with anything?
Yeah, he's saying that he's seen people driving down the motorway at speeds. He must have been at speeds to see them and take down their regs and found the Gardaí.
The fact of the matter is that he would call the guards if he felt that you were getting into your car with drink on you.
Yeah, and he would get hurt if I knew that he was doing that on me.
Oh, well.
That's a risk you're prepared to take for safer roads, Jeff, is it?
Yeah, because, just to let you know, my occupation is I'm a driving instructor.
Yeah,
so I think...
So what, you're all for safe roads, are you?
All for safe roads, yes.
All right,
well, everyone has their own opinion, don't they?
Okay, but again, you're saying mind your own business. If I have 2.5 or 3 pints and I get into the car, it's none of your business. Stay there for a second. 6797981 is our telephone number. Jeremy's here with a reaction so far.
53981 for your text. Keep them coming in. Elaine says, I can't believe people are saying mind your own business. I work in a pub and I see people leaving and driving home all the time. Well, Elaine, then you're minding your own business. Why don't you take the bloody keys off them then? You're part of the problem then, Elaine. She works in the pub, and you're serving somebody drink, Elaine, and you see that they have their car keys on the table and you're letting them drive home.
Well, following that logic, Elaine, if you're saying you're annoyed that people are minding their own business, then you should not mind your own business in future. And write down this number, 1890-205-805. Put it in your phone. Call every day.
Are you encouraging snitching, are you?
No, but I'm saying if she's given out about people saying mind your own business, well then make a note of the number, Elaine, and ring every day. You won't have a job in that pub very long, I can tell you.
Antoinette says, although I don't agree with drink driving, there's no way I would ever report it. The Gardaí get paid a very nice wage to do that job. Why should we do their job? That's essentially what we're saying here, isn't it?
And that's what a lot of people are saying, yeah.
It's the job of the Gardaí. This country is a joke. There's nothing wrong with dropping into your local on the way home from work and having 1 or 2 pints. If someone falls out of a pub after 9 or 10 pints, that's a completely different situation, says Sean. A lot of people are saying that on the text, that there's a difference between what Matthew is doing, which is 2.5 pints, and someone who's fallen out of a pub legless. Although Owen says in his text message on 53981, sometimes I have felt tipsy after 1 pint. Could you feel tipsy after 1 pint?
You could, depending on whether you've eaten or if you're tired or whatever. Yeah, you could. You could, of course. Here, get a load of this text. Back in the 80s, when everyone drank and drove, I would have maybe 14 pints and drive. One morning I went for a game of golf and had 2 pints before the golf. This ruined my game of golf. My coordination was ruined. I never drank and drove again.
Are you just a bad golfer?
No, but his point is that 2 pints does affect you. Quick break, back with the final roundup of calls in just a sec.
98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian and Jeremy.
Dublin Talks at Night.
With Adrian Kennedy and Jeremy Dixon. Twitter @Dublin Talks 98 FM.
Extremely busy on the switch. If you want to get through, you can text us on 53981 if you can't get an answer because it's really, really busy. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy. We're talking about drink driving and whether or not we should report somebody that we suspect is drinking and driving. Brendan, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Brendan.
How you doing?
Now, you believe people like Matthew need to realise what they're doing is wrong?
Yeah, of course they do. I mean, first of all, he doesn't even sound like he'd be able to walk properly. Now, I'm going to drive, so I don't think he should be driving in the first place. And another thing, has he even got a driving licence?
I assume you have, Matthew, have you?
Of course I have.
Have you ever been banned before?
No, never.
There's a reason why the ban is so hefty for drink drivers.
What is that?
There's a 3-year ban, I think it is, if you're caught drink driving.
Well, it's a minimum of 2. The least you can get is 2, yeah.
2 years ban. If drinking and driving wasn't dangerous, they wouldn't have a ban. That's so hefty.
That's your opinion, isn't it?
It is my opinion. It's my opinion. You know what, you're probably even bleeding on drugs or something, eh? Or are you drinking? Because you sound like you. You stupid fool. You shouldn't even be driving in the first place, you shouldn't.
Shouldn't come out and drive. I'm taxing shows of drive wherever I want to drive, whenever I want to drive, wherever I want to drive.
That fool Damo as well, if he's still on the line.
Are you still there, Damo?
Yeah, I'm still here, yeah.
Now, Damo never said he drinks and drives. All Damo said was mind your own business.
Well, let me ask him this then. If someone mowed down his wife by his door because they were drinking, would he mind his own business? He'd be moaning and groaning at them because they were drinking. You're a fool.
Who's a fool? Hang on there,
You're
buddy.
a fool. You and that Matthew fella, you probably know each other.
Think of what you're saying, will you? Think of what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying. And if someone knocked you down your child, God forbid they do, and you found out that they were drinking, would you have agreed with that?
No, hold on, listen to me for a minute, right? You're getting on. All I'm trying to say to you is you mind your own business and get on with your own life, right? Get on with your own life and mind your own business. Don't be making phone calls to the police and doing this and doing that.
Brendan, this is a guy who said if he was driving behind a car swerving all over the road, he'd mind his own business.
Yeah.
Right, well, if he was driving down the road and that chap, for example, was there in front of him, yeah? And that chap drove in through his estate and he was behind him for the last 10 miles and knew that he was drunk or he was on something because he was all over the road, went in to his estate and mowed down his child. What would he say?
Look, you want to get off the line there, pal, you're going to...
I asked you a question, what would you say, though?
What would I say?
What would you say, yeah? And then the inquest came in then and said that happened because he was pissed out of his head. Would you not feel guilty that you didn't ring and report him?
Yeah, but what about all the other people that's on the estate? Why don't they bleed and ring? Why don't they leave it up to the people that want to ring?
I said if you are behind them, you're the one who's saying mind your own business.
You're the one who said, and Damo, you're the one who said if you were driving behind a car and he was mounting footpads because he was so locked, you'd still mind your own business.
Oh, yeah, I'd mind my own business and I'm in my own life.
You see, all these fools that are coming on and saying all this have never had anything like that happen to them before. It's only until it happens to you, then you say, well, maybe I should have, or maybe someone else should have.
Have you had it happen to you?
No, I haven't, but I called them before. I was down at the beach one day and with my kids, and there was a family in the car. There was a bloke and a young one in the car, and the 2 kids in the back of the car, and they were drinking. The boy was down there for about 40 minutes, and I watched them for that 40 minutes. They can after can after can after can. And I reported, I rang the guys, and I told the guys that I was down the beach. And the cops came down and waited outside the beach for them. And when they came out then, I actually pulled in up the road, waiting to see what had happened. And both of them were arrested because they were drunk.
And you feel good about having done that?
But if I hadn't have done that, they had to drove out into that main road that goes down, that big main road where that beach was, and mowed down some bloke with his child or some girl with his child, then I'd feel guilty that I didn't do it. I'm glad I did it.
Okay, stay there for a second. Anne, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Anne?
Hey, Adrian.
Is it our business, Anne, to call the guards?
It is, and I totally agree with that chap 100%. It's the selfishness and the self-centered of people going about, because that's what it sounds like, a right clown. A total clown. And I hope to God it never happens to them. Because I tell you, we've had the family torn apart over a child of 13 being in a hit and run. And again, when they caught up with the driver, it was drink taken. And the poor child is ripped asunder, trying to build his life back. And you stand in Christmas Day in Temple Street Hospital, and you tell me, Adrian, that that's okay. To see a child broken, totally broken, having to be rebuilt because of someone's selfish, self-centeredness.
Okay, Matthew, you're selfish and centered.
I'm not selfish or self-centered. I'm just saying people should mind business.
He's a clown.
That's my...
Okay, well, Matthew, what about what Brendan did? A group on the beach, absolutely locked, and he did call the guards.
Yeah, because he's a rat.
A rat. What are you just saying?
He said you're a rat. He said you're a rat.
I'm a rat. He sounds like a bleeding junkie,
yeah.
he does.
Yeah,
that's what he sounds like, a little scumbag. That's what you sound like, a little scumbag.
So, hang on, Matthew, do you think it's okay for somebody to stand idly by watching a group locked out of their heads getting into a car?
Yeah. I'll tell you something. It'll take you 15 minutes to walk from your house to some pub. It'll take you the rest of your life to deal with your child who was paralysed in a wheelchair because of scumbags like you.
All right, stay there for 1 second. Let me go to Tommy. You're on 98 FM. How are you, Tommy?
I'd just like to have a word of Matthew there about...
He's after hanging up his phone now. He's a little bit annoyed at being called a scumbag, but go on anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't use language like that anyway. No, it's just that beside the fact of injuring someone else, say for instance he left the pub with 3 points on him and was involved in a single vehicle accident and was killed.
That'd be the end of him. He'd know no different, would he?
Yes, it would, but unfortunately that's another equation. But what about his family and children? Would they thank the person that didn't ring the guards to stop them in the first place?
That's the reality. They probably wouldn't. The message is, if you are interested in calling the guards about somebody that you suspect is drink driving, there's a simple number. It's 1890 205 805. A lot of you I know would never do it, like Matthew, but some of you may. 1890 205 805. If you want to report somebody that you suspect of drink driving. Anyway, thanks very much indeed for all of your calls, comments, texts and opinions. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian and Jeremy.
With the SundayWorld.com. Your world every day. It's the news without the boring bits.